love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry enormous guns. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Sean Thompson. And this is the Sean Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red,
now,
white,
oftentimes, when my next guest is interviewed, one of the things that happens is they talk about the unbelievable accomplishment of being the author of 32 books. And they talk about his new books, which are all fantastic. Intifada on the Hudson, The Selling of Zohran Mandamni, Holy Hell, Islam's Abuse of Women, and the Infidels Who Enable It. One of the things you have to remember when you talk to him, and the reason he's an author of 32 books, is he's an expert beyond belief. He has led seminars on radical Islam, on Jihad, which I don't like to say. I prefer Jihad, but we'll see if I can say that. For the FBI, the United States Central Command, the United States Army Command, General Staff College, U.S. Army, War Group, the Joint Terrorism Task Force, the Justice Department, Anti-Terrorism Advisory Council, and the U.S. Intelligence Community. He is Robert Spencer, who is the director of Jihad Watch, or Jihad Watch, at the Shillman Fellow at the David Horowitz Freedom Center. How are you, Robert?
Just great, Sean. It's good to talk to you again.
You too. And, it's something to see what's happening. And so much of this is our own doing. And that is the problem with freedom and liberty and individuality, is that sometimes it can hoist you if you don't pay attention to exactly what is happening. When I saw in Dearborn, Michigan, after Ayatollah, 7, another Khomeini, it was unbelievably shocking to me. I want the audience to hear this. This is 2 days ago.
We're gathered here today to commemorate the martyrdom of the great leader of our time, Sayyid Ali al-Hussein al-Khamenei, rahmatullahi alayh.
We might think this was an attack led by Zionist Jews, but the commander of their mission is the very one who was trying to prove that Adam was not worth prostrating to. Iblis is the one behind the scenes leading their camp.
Now, this goes on for 3 minutes. Different speakers, and they then, when they start to speak in their own tongue, they start to call us evil and the devil. And on television, a girl by the name of Farnia does this.
So first, my condolences to everybody. For many, Ayatollah Khamenei was an important figure of revolution and resistance, and not just
revolution and resistance. He was an oppressor of mayhem, murder, bigotry, homophobia, name it. He was a how is this being rewritten in real time? Are you in awe?
Well, what we got here is a massive population of people in the United States now who hate the United States and want to see it destroyed. And they're more emboldened than ever since October 7th, 2023. I remember that it was absolutely unheard of before that date ever to see public expression of support for Hamas. And now it's commonplace. The left has embraced Hamas. People openly say they support Hamas, and now they're openly saying that they are mourning Khamenei, one of the most bloodthirsty tyrants ever to have ruled anywhere. And
just like his father?
I just wonder how, no. The son has just come in. Khamenei, who was just killed, is the one I'm talking about.
Didn't we have one before him? Wasn't he the original? How many? Yeah. We've had 2 Khomeinis, or 3. I don't even know.
No, it's confusing, but the name was different. There was no relation. The guy who founded the Islamic Republic was Khomeini, and he died in 1989, and he was replaced by Khamenei, different guy, different name, very similar name, and now Khamenei's son is taking over. But What I'm wondering is how long can America survive with all these people who hate it living here and working to destroy it?
Well, I think we could make an argument, if we wanted to be just a hair pessimistic with a little realism, that it doesn't survive where this lives. Where this lives, America does not survive. And when you see entire communities have to adopt this cultism, and I have no, by the way, let me be very clear. If you practice or this is your religion, but you are not a fanatic, good for you, bully for you, great. Isn't it sad that we can spot you too? If you don't practice this, we can spot you. I know immediately if someone is not a radical cultist. You know, they dress different, they speak differently, they treat their wives and their kids and strangers differently. This is a hostile religion that isn't interested in coexisting. It's interested in conquering. But that's what it really is about since the beginning, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The political aspect of Islam goes all the way back to Muhammad, the prophet of Islam, when he first became the political and military leader in Medina after the Hijrah. This is what the emigration, that's what Hijrah means, is what the Islamic leaders are talking about today, saying that the Muslims who come to the United States and to Europe ought to imitate Muhammad and become military and political leaders as well. This is one of the reasons why we see so many running for Congress, running for other offices, because political power is a core element of Islam. And so even when they have a small minority in a country, they try to get political power.
Isn't it time, and I think you and I have talked about this, there are Catholics, which I was born into, that beat themselves repeatedly. They're very radical. They preach a sense what I would consider hatred. I completely and utterly reject it. When you look just at the history, the reality of the history of nonconformity, of practicing the traditions of slavery and abuse of your family and the rest, why are we so genteel with our rebuttal to it, when all we have to say is, I have never spotted an Amish suicide bomber. I don't think there's ever been a Jewish suicide bomber that I'm aware of in these shores or pretty much anywhere. But I don't know. I'm not an expert in the Middle East. But it seems to be exclusive to this religion. And we just had a case where a guy wearing a property of Allah shoots completely innocent kids, completely and totally. And yet again, they target the women. They target the unarmed. They target. It seems to be so full of cowardice and just evil. What do they think they're doing?
Well, they think they're serving God, and they do because the Quran says that they should make war against unbelievers. This is a core part of Islam. And like you said, doesn't mean every Muslim is doing it, but the ones who are doing it can point to chapter and verse and justify what they're doing and make recruits among the peaceful Muslims. But nobody wants to face this. This is the real answer to your question. People are afraid to deal with this because it's a religion. If it were a political ideology only, then there would be all kinds of laws against it. But there's a lot of confusion about the nature of the freedom of religion, and it's not actually a license to break other laws, but that's how a lot of people treat it. And there is a fear of confronting it because the American Islamic groups, like the Council on American Islamic Relations, have very cleverly and skillfully given the impression that you're racist and bigoted and prejudiced and Islamophobic if you oppose all this.
And, you know, here's the other thing. I don't like I hate the way in which they bastardize words. I'm not afraid of it. I'm repulsed by it. I demand that it stops. I'm not afraid of it. I can combat the argument. The argument is sophomoric. The argument of what you're actually making is ridiculous, and it should not exist in a society with an IQ over 60. You are arguing against the Enlightenment. You are arguing against liberty. You are preaching and promoting and demanding slavery and servitude to a God that I don't have to believe in. But that's only in this country. In fact, I couldn't live in so-called Palestine or Gaza. I couldn't live in Iran. If I did, they would tax me or extort me and tell me what I was good for. Amazingly, people are ignorant to this, and that's really the crux of the problem. How many Americans who argue on behalf of the cult of Islamo-Nazism even know what's in the book. I think you only have to go, I think I went 88 pages before I couldn't take it anymore. You don't have to go deep into it, do you?
No, it's right there. It's right there on the surface. It's right there if you read it, but very few Americans read it. Like you said, I've been studying it for 40 years, Sean, and I can tell you I know what's in it. I know what's in it very well. But when I tell people what's in it, they say, oh, well, there's bad stuff in the Bible too. Or they say, there's other interpretations of that aren't so bad. And they don't really have any idea that the fact is that it's mainstream in Islam, what the terrorists are doing. Here again, doesn't mean every Muslim is doing it, but it's mainstream Islamic teaching they're acting upon.
Is there another, and I say this to you, being ignorant, I'm confessing my ignorance. Is there another religion that says if you encounter somebody that you are a non-believer, let's not use the word infidel, you are a non-believer, you must either convert, tax, or kill them? Is there another religion out there that says that?
No, I don't think so. There certainly isn't one of the major religions that have a significant number of the population of the world. Certainly not. That is a unique idea to Islam. But there are Muslims who act upon that. And the problem is that in America, most people think, oh, you think that, then you're just bigoted and racist.
Have you read into that Scientology? Because I think if you hold the rods of truth and you tell a lie, you are punished by being a bit actor in one of those Mission Impossible movies. In every other religion, you see none of this. I mean, it is the year 2025. We carry in our hands, most of us, the answer to every question. And yet people are so afraid to look at the truth of it. They prefer the lie that has kept this radicalism alive in a country that rejects all religions, even the one that founded it is not the national religion, much to the chagrin of imbecile senators who graduated cum laude from their law school. Did you ever hear Tim Kaine compare Christians who believe in the Enlightenment to Iranians? Did you ever hear it?
Well, I haven't, but I know that the left loves Islam and hates Christianity, and there's so many examples of that. It's shameful, and it's based on ignorance of both.
I want you to, this is a sitting senator. I'm not kidding you. He graduated cum laude from a law school. His name is Tim Kaine.
The notion that rights don't come from laws and don't come from the government, but come from the creator, that's what the Iranian government believes. It's a theocratic regime that bases its rule on Shia law.
That's a sitting senator in big power on numerous committees. That's the other part of our problem. We're surrounded by fracking morons, aren't we?
Yep, no doubt about it. I'll tell you, I was just actually testifying in Congress last month, and I was talking about Sharia Islamic law and how it's political and not just religious, and how it's supremacist, aggressive, expansionist, and violent, and that every American needs to be aware of its making inroads in the United States. And Steve Cohen of Tennessee said, what you're describing sounds like a Middle Eastern version of Project 2025. And I started laughing. I thought this is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. But this was all the Democrats on this committee agreed and were saying the same thing.
So when you see Donald Trump, who is an unlikely deliverer of righteousness on Americanism and American principles, are you often shocked as I am?
Oh, certainly, yeah. I mean, there's so much to be shocked about. I don't know what you're talking about specifically, so tell me.
Well, I'm shocked at his ability to understand the magnitude of what it is, and to understand that when you're talking to people who in their religion, it says specifically to lie to the infidel, you cannot come to a conclusion. The parchment promises of someone who is destined and taught from the very young age to lie to the infidel. They really can have agreements. We could pretend, and we could do what Barack Obama did and give billions and billions and billions of dollars and ignore the 47 years and the deaths of thousands of Americans, and pretend that 1979 didn't happen, where they kept Americans for 444 days. And we don't have to talk about the Barbary pirates or the reality of what we've been living through. We can delude ourselves with the idea you can take an agreement by somebody who is bound by their own religion to hate you.
There's no way to make an agreement with the Islamic Republic of Iran that we can be sure they're going to honor. It's just not possible, because Shiite Islam in particular has an idea of deceiving unbelievers. That if you are under threat from the unbelievers, if you're in a war and you're losing or you're in trouble in some way, then you can lie to them and make them think that you're on their side or that you're making some deal that you're not going to fight. And it's total lies, and you're just doing it to buy some time. And very few people in the United States have any idea of this.
And the other amazing thing that Trump did, he did something that no other president ever did. He said to the opposing military, lay down your weapons and surrender, and you will be welcomed. Did anybody take him up on that?
No, not to my knowledge, but it's not over yet. I think that the best chance, as a matter of fact, that the Iranian people have is for the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps and the Quds Force and all the others to realize that that's their best shot, that they can't keep making war against their own people, and to take Trump up on his offer.
Now, the specificity of the hatred between the different ideologies, which I'm confused at, the Saudis versus the Iranians versus the Qatarians. Give us the genesis of that and why they themselves can never come to some sort of an agreement. And that is why you're watching as the death rattle happens for the Iranian theocrats as they're firing on other Muslims.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the Sunni-Shiite divide. And the Sunnis are about 85% of Muslims around the world, and the Shiites are most of the rest. And they hate each other, and because Islam has a death penalty for heresy and apostasy, they also kill each other when they get the chance. The Saudis are Sunnis, but they have a significant Shiite minority in the eastern part of the country, which is right near Iran. It's just across the Gulf from Iran. Most of the countries in the world, as a matter of fact, the Muslim countries, are Sunni. Iran, rather, is 99% Shiite and is the world's foremost Shiite state. So there's antagonism between the Sunnis and Shia to start with. So they're already on a bad footing. Then Israel and Trump made the Abraham Accords and made the offers to the Sunni states that were threatened by Iran, that we're threatened by Iran too, so come work with us. And a lot of the Sunni states went along. So this enraged the Shiites in Iran, and when the U.S. and Israel struck a few days ago, the Iranians started sending missiles into all these Sunni states because they're angry with them about making common cause with the infidels in the Abraham Accords.
I'll tell you, when you step back and look at things, because it's also his son-in-law, another guy that never ran for dog catcher, right? I didn't particularly care for him in the beginning when I knew about the father and the financing and the money to Bill Clinton. He was one of Bill Clinton's biggest investors, was Jared Kushner's father. But when you see the results, yeah, it's fascinating. In fact, a big scandal. I believe he went to prison for either extortion or attempting to kill his brother. It's really a scallywag story. So I was very suspicious. But when you look at the results, I think we should try to have real estate brokers and developers and real estate professionals run the whole government. What do you think?
Yeah, they've certainly been doing a whole lot better than the foreign policy professionals. And you remember a few years back, John Kerry was saying, you can still find the video, it's simply impossible. You cannot make peace with the Arab states without dealing with the Palestinian problem. And then Trump comes in and Kushner, and they make peace with the Arab states without dealing with the Palestinian problem, just on the basis that I just described, on the basis of the shared threat that the Sunni states and Israel have with Iran.
John Kerry, I always was sidetracked by him because he perfected making the money the old-fashioned way. He married it. The first wife was worth $100 million, and then he married Heinz's cleaning lady, who he ended up marrying as the third wife before he died. That's a fascinating son of a gun. Never worked a day in his life and flew private his whole life. Robert Spencer, good luck with the fatwas. I assume you must have one on you for each book. Is it 32 fatwas?
Yeah, probably more than that.
Yeah, don't worry. I got them, too. Only mine are put on by Democrats. Robert Spencer, thank you for making time.
Hey, pleasure, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Sean Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.